Welcome to the next instalment of the millinery.info podcast series. Today's podcast is brought to you by the team at millinery.info. Today we are speaking with Ana Pribylova, who is the creative behind Ana Bella Millinery and has just had wonderful success at the Dubai World Cup. Following on from being awarded Best Hat in 2016, this year she was awarded Best Dressed Lady at the Dubai World Cup, and a piece she made appearing in the top 10 of the Best Hat competition. Congratulations on your recent success at the Dubai races, Anna. Could you tell us about your winning outfit?
Thank you. My winning outfit for the Dubai World Cup, it was, I had two dresses in mind actually. I was making one. I was sewing from a vintage pattern from the 1950s, a Vogue pattern, which I didn't get to finish on time, but I still brought the dress thinking naively that I would get to finish it, but I didn't because of all the amount of millinery orders as well as the exhibition that I had at the Meydan Hotel. So things got a little bit busy, and I always have a backup dress to bring with me in case that happens where I can't finish the dress. And my millinery was also finished during the week, but I had pre-made the base block in my London studio where I carved a polystyrene hat block for me, especially for the Dubai World Cup. So it's a new base, and I used EVA foam for the trim and handmade the flowers as well. So I finished it all on the morning of the Dubai World Cup because I also had quite a lot of orders to finish before mine. And yeah, because of my win the year before of Best Hat, I really wasn't expecting anything. I was really focused on my exhibition, and I was focused on my clients that were entering with me on the day, and it was just a whirlwind of events that happened and unfolded. Actually, we almost got rained out and the competition never went ahead, and well, it did go ahead, but it almost didn't go ahead because of the rain.
How did you first become interested in millinery?
When I lived in Cairns for 2 years, so I was born in Melbourne and I moved up to Cairns, there was a keen interest in Cairns to go, everyone would go to the races, and when I left high school, when I was 18, I studied visual arts, sculpture, photography, drawing and painting, and my love was actually sculpture, and I had a fantastic sculpture teacher. So I think that really started it off, and I thought I could make my own headpiece, and I was really lucky that I had a millinery wholesale supplier around the corner from me. So I went to the shop and just bought a few things, and Cindy, the lady in the shop that owns I think it's Millinery Online, she explained to me how a lot of the materials work, which I was really very lucky, and she told me how heat could transform feathers, and I was so interested that I ended up getting a whole bunch more of materials and looking online of how I could manipulate all these materials. And so that's how it all started, of making my own hat. So I made my own millinery, and then I gained interest from lots of other people that wanted to buy it. And then I won a Cairns Post Fascinator competition, which then I won $1,000, and also some millinery supplies from that same store, which enabled me to start my studio at the back of my unit. So I bought a few hat blocks, lots of trims, some cinema, and that's how I started.
Where did you train, and what was the best aspect of your training?
When I moved from Cairns to the UK, I thought it was a great opportunity to really delve into the traditional millinery world and gain some more skills. So I studied at the London College of Fashion, where my teacher, I was very lucky, she is the workroom hands from Philip Treacy's business, which is around the corner from me here in Battersea, and she really she taught me some really traditional millinery skills, and we had a huge block library at the London College of Fashion. It was like candy. They had beautiful old vintage blocks that we could pick from, and I picked this huge lampshade block to start with, and so that's part of my training. Then I also trained at in London as well with Kensington Chelsea College, which is quite well renowned for training milliners here in London. It's one of the two, I suppose, London College of Fashion and Kensington Chelsea. And then I went on to, I got an internship with Noel Stewart as well. So, and that led me to North London, where I trained there for quite a while. And then I interned with a more traditional milliner called Edwina Ibbotson. Her work is sort of similar to Rachel Trevor Morgan, who makes hats for the Queen. So she was, I would say, everything is stitched. She doesn't have a sewing machine in her millinery studio, whereas Noel Stewart, you'd get the anything goes with the plastics to all sorts of new materials, where I was very lucky. So I had two different types of training, which is quite traditional millinery and then not so traditional at Noel's. I also love using Hat Academy because you get some access to amazing tutors from around the world. And that's when I was in Cairns, I was quite isolated. I did travel to Melbourne. I would see some great milliners, Louise McDonald, Brett Morley, for their one-on-one sort of techniques and also the group lessons. But when I wasn't able to go anywhere, I would go on Hat Academy and see if there was anything I could really learn from.
You split your time between Australia and London. What is that balance like for you?
So I do live between Australia and London. I can't let go of my home. I miss Australia and the weather, but I've found that London has really been able to give me some really traditional millinery training, and it's also been like a great base for me to travel from to Dubai. It's quite central. It's been really great for my millinery business because I have access to the UK market and also some great events like London Hat Week. I've been able to, I had a show through London Fashion Week, which was fantastic. So how do I balance it? I actually follow the seasons, which is really great. So March is Dubai, then I work towards June, July for Ascot, and then I work towards all my orders in Australia for November. So I open up my studio for about 2 or 3 months before the Melbourne Cup, when I go over to Melbourne. And I also have family, or my family is in Melbourne, so it all works well. I try to spend a bit of time with them as well.
What is the typical process for you when designing a collection?
When I design a collection, I have to keep in mind, I make between 20 to 30 hats in the collection, and the reason why it's so big for me, because I have to design for different cultures, and I find the hats that they like to wear and the hats that sell are quite different between each country. I find that a lot more traditional hats are sold in England, but there is also a demand for non-traditional hats here as well. And I also have to design for the Australian culture, which is really forward, and they're happy to wear more out there millinery headpieces. And then I design for Dubai, which I find that they want to wear something different, but they're not really sure. The millinery culture and their fashions of the field is just sort of developing at the moment. So my collection, I gather a few colours, samples, materials. I'm really driven by materials. Actually, I when I want to work with metallics, I gather all my materials in front of me, and then I see how I can manipulate the fabric, the material of what I want to make, and the shapes and the styles.
What material and techniques do you favour?
With thinking about materials and techniques, I often use materials that I think not anyone has really thought about using. My signature style are the mirror pieces. And how I came across to using them was I really wanted something that was very shiny, metallic, and I used hand-cut mirror pieces where I cut them to the size and shape that I want. and it actually took me about 4 months working with the material. I had it in front of me and very many trial and errors of how I was going to work with it. Initially, I started with some wire and I wanted them to gradually go in a pattern, but that didn't work. So then I used some acetate because I wanted it to be a see-through piece. It kind of evolves in the end of what actually is going to be more wearable, what's not going to be that heavy. And the year before, in 2015, my first year when I went to the Dubai World Cup, I used wooden skewers, which were very light, and I arranged them in a circular pattern around a plastic acetate rose, which I heated and melted, which was really quite different to anything that anyone had ever seen or used. I like to use materials which are quite available to me. I don't have a big budget to spend on materials, and I like to experiment with them. So I don't want to be using materials which cost an arm and a leg and then having it not work. So I find materials like plastics and acetate skewers and mirrors which I can cut up quite affordable to me. And I use quite a lot of them because I often find my work is repetitive in pattern.
Who would you most like to see wearing one of your pieces?
I would really love to see. I've been noticing Beyonce wears a lot of amazing headpieces, and her costume design is amazing on stage. I'd love for her to wear one of my pieces. Or the royal family would be great. Kate Middleton would be fantastic if she could wear one of my pieces, one of my more traditional pieces. I'm not sure if she's ready to wear one of my mirror pieces. It might be a little bit too out there for her.
What has been your most enjoyable commission?
I don't think I have a most enjoyable commission, but what I do like when somebody asks me to make a hat with them, I like that they push me and they say, look, I want this, I want that, and something that I haven't thought of. And then I really don't like it at the time, but it actually pushes me to make it in my own style, and then I'm really quite proud of it when I thought I couldn't do it initially. So I love those commissions where they really push you out of what you thought you could do. Yesterday I had a lady come over and she's got some leopard print shoes, and I just thought, alarm bells, I don't want to make any hat out of leopard print, but actually I'm thinking that I might be able to make quite an elegant piece, and she wants quite an elaborate big hat. So I like to stick to making elegant hats which are beautiful as well as eye-catching but not over the top. So it's going to be quite a challenge for me, but I think I'll be able to do it. So I think the commissions that really push me to go outside what I would normally do are the ones that are the most exciting for me.
What era are you most drawn to?
I love the 1950s and the 1940s. I love the elegance and that they wore hats every day with their outfits, because I think when you put a hat on with an outfit, I love race days, and I think my favourite part is actually dressing for the day and getting myself ready rather than actually at the race days and trying to be there for the whole day. I love the dressing up part. And a lot of my outfits are actually 1950s inspired. I love how the curves and the womanly figure looks so elegant, and tops it off with a hat. I have a collection of 1950s actually dress patterns that I've been meaning to make for a while, that I tried to make for the Dubai World Cup, but I just haven't had time to finish them. So a lot of my pieces are initially, can you believe it, 1950s inspired. The bases, I love the big lampshade brims, the boaters, the perched boaters, which are I love them. I love them for their elegance and their class, and that they wore them every single day to complement their outfits.
What has your day looked like today?
What does my day look like here in London? Well, the sun's actually out. It's shining. It makes me smile, and I think everyone in London and the UK are a little bit happier because the sun's out. I have a studio that I work from all week in London, and I either start off my day on the computer answering emails, whether it might be sending them off to magazines for shoots or answering clients' questions. I've got a few orders for the Melbourne Cup, which I'm organising, and also I'm sending some hats off for a movie in Paris, which is quite exciting. They're filming a movie about fashion, and want some of my really elaborate hats, which is pretty exciting. And then I have some clients popping over that want to make some hats for Ascot, so they'll bring their outfits over and talk to them about what kind of bases and shapes they would like. And then hopefully I try and fit some making of hats in and let some hat blocks dry overnight, because it takes quite a long time to dry here in the UK, I've found, so I have to put it on the radiator. So my time is really spent between PR, answering emails, and I'm trying to get a lot of hats in, making hats in, which is difficult when I'm running my own business myself. So I've just come back from Dubai, and now I'm focusing on Royal Ascot, which is going to be quite busy. Yeah, so that's my day. It can go between 7 o'clock in the morning and all night. It's quite busy at the moment.
What is the best handy hint someone has shared with you?
Yeah, I think I've had some setbacks with my millinery business, and also when I moved from Australia to London, I was quite upset because I'd actually lost quite a lot of my clients because of the shipping and the duty taxes and the exchange rate. So when I did do a lot of interning, I got some great advice from some very kind milliners such as Noel Stewart, the advice from him was just keep going. I had some setback from stockists and I was a bit upset, but I think when one door closes, it really has meant for me that another door opens. And I find that the reason why sometimes things don't work is because there is a better opportunity or something better is waiting around the corner, which is truly what happened for me the first time I went to Dubai, because initially I was at the Prime Minister's Cup, I think in Gold Coast. I flew down from Cairns, and my outfit and with the skewer hat piece that I made, which was lime green and gold, I thought it was fantastic, and I thought this is great. It'll be great advertising for my brand, my millinery brand, if I'd won. And I got into the top 10, and I remember someone saying to me, "Oh, your outfit would really go well in Dubai." And I thought, they have races in Dubai? I'm going. So I put it on my credit card, and I think thanks to my motivation and just sort of open mind, I went, and I haven't looked back since. So that door closed for me in Queensland, I felt, and, I felt my outfit could go better. And I also thought, I don't usually wear outfits twice, but it's in a different country. So why not have this millinery, take a leap of faith and go to Dubai, and it's been a great experience, and it'll be my third year this year attending and fourth year next year, because I will be going back to exhibition again. So I think for anyone else out there, just keep going and be open-minded. Just, I suppose, say yes to opportunities, and if you have doors closed, just go somewhere else and create more opportunities somewhere else, and don't get disheartened.
Thank you for speaking with us today, Anna, about your love of millinery and classical elegance.
Thank you.
If you know someone who has an interesting millinery story to share, or you have an exciting millinery adventure happening in your life, please contact us via the website. Or if you would be interested in supporting our podcast by millinery.info, we would love to hear from you. This episode was brought to you by the team at millinery.info, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.